should be on the tip of our lips. Newton's third law of motion: to every action there's an equal and an opposite reaction. We all always should know why. So we're going to spend our whole day today, our whole morning, on food. And aren't there a lot of different, remember it, muscle knows no age. In other words, whether you're 9 or 90, you can have a strong, fit, healthy body.
Barbara O'Neill argues that muscle knows no age, emphasizing that whether you're 9 or 90, you can have a strong, fit, and healthy body.
It's not a bad idea to Google 100-year-old athletes and just have a look at what they're...
Research shows that strength training can increase muscle mass by up to 10% even in older adults. To confirm this, Barbara shared a story about her colleague Amelia, a naturopath who had worked with her for 5 years.
She had a little app on her phone, just a photo of 2 women. Both of them were 80. One of them was overweight, hunched over with a walking stick.
Both had been the same age, illustrating that muscle knows no age. Barbara believed it had been crucial to prepare for one's later years. Many people had neglected this and unfortunately spent their latter years in poor health.
And the other one, she had like a sports bra crop top on and then jogging pants on, and you could count her abdominal muscles. She was...
Barbara addressed the common excuse of not having time to exercise by introducing a form of exercise that only took 15 minutes a day. She used to do half an hour of exercise daily, but had found it challenging to fit into her busy schedule. However, she now advocates for a more time-efficient workout routine, making it accessible even for those with tight schedules.
And I believe that it's very important for us to prepare for our latter years. How many people don't do that, and their latter years, unfortunately, are spent in misery?
The next day, despite being sore and barely able to move, Barbara felt obliged to join the walk again. She couldn't refuse, as she was in town to give health lectures. From that time on, Barbara committed to exercising daily, realizing that being busy all day wasn't enough.
We need to be preparing for our latter years, and one of the probably most effective ways to do that is to keep the body strong, fit.
While she acknowledged that some jobs, like gardening or personal training, involved physical activity, she stressed the importance of dedicated exercise time, even for those in physically demanding professions like massage therapy.
I went to New Zealand, and the lady I stayed with said to me, "I do a 5K walk every morning, would you like to join me?" It's through the forest. I said, "I would love to. I don't have to get the kids up, I don't have to put the washing on the line, I don't have to get the breakfast going," because I still had a few teenagers at home then.
Barbara and her husband had started walking for half an hour every day. She was thrilled when she discovered a more time-efficient exercise routine that only took 15 minutes. Implementing a regular exercise program brought unexpected benefits, such as no longer having cold feet. She used to sit with her feet in warm water to warm them up, but regular exercise solved this problem.
Well, after about 3 kilometres, I could hardly keep up with her, and she was twice my size, 10 years younger. The next day when I woke up, I could hardly move. I could hardly move.
Barbara O'Neill then explained the importance of capillaries in the extremities, brain, eyes, and other parts of the body. She highlighted how exercise could enhance various body functions like eyesight and hearing.
I have a friend, his name's Dr. Jonathan Gibbs, and he did a PhD on the effect of exercise in the cell, and he told me this. He said, when you do that in the morning...
Barbara introduced high-intensity interval training, HIIT, often called HIIT training. After the war, the Japanese trainer Tabata had documented it again.
A network of capillaries is opened that equals the distance around planet Earth. Well, I can hardly get my mind around that one. So where are these capillaries? They're in your extreme.
Using it to give his figure skaters an edge in the Olympics. Tabata's method involved 20 seconds of high-intensity exercise followed by 60 seconds of recovery, repeated for 6 cycles.
Have a look at this. It's called high-intensity interval training, or often called HIIT training.
This training had given his athletes a competitive edge, crucial in the Olympics where victories could be decided by split seconds. High intensity means going as hard and fast as you could, whether it's swimming, running, or climbing. Inspired by the book she read, Barbara couldn't wait to try HIIT. During her first attempts, she found that her body resisted the effort as she reached the 20-second mark, with increasing difficulty as she pushed to 30 seconds.
And the first documented evidence of the HIIT training was probably before the war. Some German trainers were training their athletes in it. The war.
She emphasized the importance of counting to stay focused and push through the body's initial resistance. Barbara referenced the Framingham Heart Study, which showed that by age 50, most people had lost 40% of their lung capacity due to inactivity.
And he's a doctor. I think he's a heart doctor. And he found out about this. So what he did was he did 30 seconds high intensity.
She explained that high-intensity exercise forced the lungs to expand and work fully, preventing the lower parts of the lungs from going dormant. By age 80, many people had lost 60% of their lung capacity.
90 seconds recovery for a cycle of 6. And what I have found in my reading, that's probably a time that most people come at would be the very best.
Highlighting the necessity of maintaining lung health through regular exercise, recovery time was a key indicator of fitness. Dr. Al Sears, in his book PACE, described the principles of HIIT.
Most of the HIIT training experiments have been done on an exercise bike. So if someone's a little unsteady on their feet, their ankles, their knees, their hips not working well, the exercise bike, they're able to hold on, they can go as fast as they can, and then they do.
P stood for progressive, meaning the exercise got easier as you built strength. While it never became entirely easy, the recovery time shortened, indicating improved fitness. I stood for acceleration, emphasizing the importance of pushing hard and fast rather than taking a gentle stroll.
40% or most people had lost 40% of their lung capacity. Why is that? Because people never do.
Barbara O'Neill continued her discussion on exercise by explaining the C in the acronym PACE, which stood for cardiopulmonary. Cardio referred to the heart muscle, and Barbara emphasized that the only way to strengthen the heart was through exercise. She illustrated this point with a story about her son, Peter.
What you experience when you get to the end of your 30 seconds, those lungs are just stretched wide open. Those little bronchioles right at the end are being forced to start working. High chest breathers can find that the bottom half of their lungs can almost go into dormant.
About 10 years ago, when Peter was 25, he was training for a triathlon by running up and down hills near Brisbane. One day, while dismantling an old ceramic vanity unit, it slipped and severely injured his ankle, causing blood to spray all over the bathroom. Despite the injury, Peter's pulse remained at 50 beats per minute, a testament to his strong heart from regular exercise.
Felt that. So I think one of the most amazing things about this high-intensity interval training is what happens when you're in recovery. And don't we love recovery? When you're in recovery time, getting your breath back, letting your body settle down a bit.
The nurse at the hospital was astonished by his low heart rate. Barbara explained that a strong heart pumped more efficiently, needing fewer beats per minute to circulate blood. Peter's powerful heart, strengthened by his training, caused the blood to hit the ceiling when he was injured. If his resting heart rate had been higher, the blood might not have even reached the ceiling.
The liver converts that lactic acid back to pyruvate and feeds it into the powerhouse, which means when you're in recovery time, your cells are burning just as much fuel as when you're running for your life.
Although Peter had to forego the triathlon to recover, his strong heart and overall fitness helped minimize the damage. The doctor was amazed that Peter hadn't cut any tendons and kept testing his toe movement to confirm. Peter's recovery required several layers of stitches, and he was grateful for the medical care he received.
Out of balance, and you might be a little bit out of balance, but the more you do it, the better your balance will be. You can also start by this. Just going like that. But this little one's called the health bounce. But when you start jumping, when you're to the height of your jump, every gate opens.
Barbara O'Neill continued her discussion on high-intensity interval training, and its profound effects on the body. She explained that when the heart is strong, it didn't need to beat as frequently because each beat was more efficient. The idea is that we have a limited number of heartbeats in our lifetime, so maintaining fitness could potentially extend both the length and quality of life. Barbara introduced the concept of PACE, progressive acceleration of cardiopulmonary exertion.
And when you hit the mat again, every gate closes. Isn't that incredible? You only have to rebound for 1 minute in the morning to get that lymphatic system activated for the whole day.
Where cardiopulmonary refers to the heart and lungs. She highlighted how high-intensity exercise could help prevent and even reverse the loss of lung capacity. During intense exercise, the body used both anaerobic and aerobic pathways to generate energy. This resulted in the accumulation of lactic acid, which caused discomfort but was also crucial to the benefits of HIIT.
And you'll notice that most joggers are padded to encourage heel striking. Have you noticed that? And yet, we should be toe striking.
During recovery, the liver converted lactic acid back to usable fuel, ensuring the body continued to function efficiently. This recovery phase was where the body mopped up lactic acid and prevented its buildup in tissues, which helped reduce acidity and supported overall health. She expressed her gratitude to scientists like Doug McGuff for uncovering these insights into cellular processes.
You see, the foot's been designed to strike on the toe. When you strike on the toe, it strengthens the arch, and the ball of the foot has a cushioning effect, and the toes spread out to sort of take the fall.
Explaining how they contributed to the effectiveness of HIIT. She emphasized that this form of exercise was powerful, efficient, and did not require a long time commitment, typically just 15 minutes a day. Barbara shared her personal approach to maintaining her health, including her daily exercise routine, regardless of weather conditions. She mentioned using a rebounder, mini trampoline, as a highly effective form of exercise.
He discovered that it is heel striking that's causing the hamstring, the pelvic, and the lower back problems. Isn't that interesting?
Rebounding combined three forces: defying gravity, acceleration, and deceleration. These forces challenged the body's cells, which strengthened them and contributed to overall health. She related this to the natural process of aging, noting that people often lost strength and vitality because they stopped engaging in activities that challenged their bodies, like jumping. By incorporating rebounding into their routine, they could simulate the benefits of gravity-defying activities and maintain or improve physical fitness.
So if you do run, make sure it's toe striking. And your high intensity, it's actually whatever works for you.
Barbara O'Neill continued her discussion on the benefits of rebounding, focusing on its effects on the lymphatic system and its overall impact on the body. She explained that the lymphatic system was like the body's vacuum cleaner, clearing waste from tissues without a dedicated pump. In contrast, the blood circulatory system had a heart pump and muscles around capillaries to move blood throughout the body. The calf muscles acted as a secondary pump, aiding in the return of blood to the heart. Rebounding effectively engaged the calf muscles, which was beneficial for circulation and could help with conditions like varicose veins. The lymphatic system, lacking a pump, relied on physical activity to open its gates and remove waste. Rebounding was particularly effective because it opened every gate in the lymphatic system, activating it for the entire day. Even minimal rebounding, like the health bounce, could significantly stimulate the lymphatic system.
Sears, in his book Pace, he gives a story of a lady who did she did 7 seconds high intensity, and she needs 15 minutes to recover. Whoa.
Barbara then demonstrated different rebounding techniques, including the health bounce and higher jumps. She emphasized that rebounding improved balance, strengthened the muscles, and could be adapted for various fitness levels. For those who may struggle with balance, using a rebounder with a frame for support was a good option. Rebounding also has a positive impact on the body's alignment and strength. Barbara explained that it strengthens the feet, arches, and improves balance. Additionally, rebounding can target upper body muscles like the biceps and triceps.
If she does that every day, she'll get to 8 seconds and then 12 minutes recovery. Can you see what will happen? That's why it's a good idea to note your recovery time, because as you get fitter, your recovery time will be less and less and less.
Through specific hand positions while jumping for eyesight improvement, Barbara suggested focusing on stationary objects while rebounding. This exercise helps strengthen eye muscles and improve visual acuity. She shared her personal experience of improved eyesight through this method. Barbara mentioned the Bellicon rebounder as a top choice due to its quality and smooth bounce, which reduces jarring effects on joints compared to other forms of exercise like skipping or running on hard surfaces. Just 15 minutes a day can make a difference. Subscribe for more health and wellness tips.
The second most vital element needed for life is water. You can go 3 minutes without oxygen. You can go couple of weeks without water.
Water is vital for life. It's right up there with oxygen as one of the most important things we need to survive.
I always thought it was 3 days without water until I read a book called The Long Walk about some people who were escaping the Siberian work camp, and they were in the desert and they went nearly 2 weeks without water.
Without oxygen, we'd last only a few minutes, but without water, we could survive for weeks under extreme conditions.
Water is the second most vital element needed for life. In fact, where there's no water, you don't usually get people living, do you?
A book called The Long Walk tells the story of survivors from a Siberian work camp.
I don't like water. If I drink water, my feet swell. If I drink water, I'm going to the bathroom all day.
Who went nearly 2 weeks in the desert without water. This shows just how tough humans can be. Water does more than just keep us alive. Places with plenty of water thrive, while those without it struggle.
Tell me that the water's not getting inside the cell. So how do we get the water inside the cell? We have to go to the third most vital element needed for life, and that is sodium. The fourth most vital element needed for life is potassium.
Even so, many people today don't like drinking water. They say it tastes bad or makes them feel bloated or run to the bathroom too often. These problems often mean the water isn't getting into their cells properly.
We find the highest amount of sodium in seawater, and seawater contains 92 minerals. Of those 92 minerals,
sodium, another essential element, helps water get absorbed by our cells. Nowadays, many people prefer drinking sugary sodas instead of water.
Approximately 30% is sodium, and of those 92 minerals, approximately 50% is chloride. Now, because sodium chloride take up the most amount,
these drinks don't hydrate as well and can harm our health, increasing the risk of diseases like type 2 diabetes. A woman named Sarah Smith, at 42 years old, noticed a big improvement in her health and appearance after she started drinking more water. She began this habit to help with her migraines.
They're the first crystals formed when the water is evaporated. So what man does is he scoops up the first crystals formed, he bleaches them white, puts aluminium with it.
But found that drinking 6 bottles of water a day not only eased her headaches, but also made her look younger in just 28 days. But just drinking any water isn't enough. The kind of water we drink matters too.
So that it runs freely. And there's your table salt. Table salt is a dangerous salt because we now have 2 very harsh minerals that if you were to inject both of those into the blood, you would die.
Natural seawater, for example, has 92 essential minerals. Sodium and chloride make up a large part of these minerals and help keep our bodies balanced. However, most table salt is processed and lacks these beneficial minerals.
There's 2 harsh minerals and they need all the other 90 to soften them and balance them. The highest concentration of mineral inside the cell is potassium. The highest concentration outside the cell is sodium.
This processed salt can be harmful if introduced directly into our bloodstream. Dr. Barbara O'Neill has spent her career teaching people about the importance of water and mineral balance for overall health. She highlights how understanding and using natural resources can transform our health.
And in this bilayered membrane that is around every cell, there are sodium-potassium pumps. And these sodium-potassium pumps are ever going like this, maintaining the balance between potassium and sodium.
But there's more to this story. Despite the clear benefits of proper hydration and mineral balance, many still neglect these simple health principles. So why not start today?
But when someone's not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and that's where you get most of your potassium, and they're putting table salt on everything far too much, what happens now is sodium levels rise and potassium levels drop.
Drinking more water and paying attention to its quality can make a big difference. And don't forget, staying hydrated is not just about avoiding sugary drinks.
As we are about to get started, remember these are trace elements. Salt is not supposed to be a source of daily recommended allowances. Chloride. Redmond's has 913.8 milligrams, Himalayan 885.45, Celtic 693.75.
It's about giving your body what it truly needs to function at its best. Small changes in your daily routine, like drinking more water and choosing natural sources of minerals, can lead to significant improvements in your health.
Sodium, Redmond's has 568.6 milligrams, Himalayan 575, Celtic at 530.76. Potassium, Redmond's has none detectable, Himalayan has 5.25 milligrams, Celtic at 3.11. Sulfur, Redmond's has 3 milligrams, Himalayan at 18.6, Celtic at 11.19.
Dr. Barbara, an expert in natural medicine, loves teaching people about natural ways to improve health. She explains that staying truly hydrated means more than just drinking a lot of water.
Calcium, Redmond's has none detectable, Himalayan has 6.07 milligrams, Celtic has 2.92. Iron, Redmond's has 0.45 milligrams, Himalayan 0.058, Celtic 0.16. Phosphorus, Redmond's has 0.045 milligrams, Himalayan 0.0001 milligrams, Celtic none detectable.
It also means keeping a balance of minerals in your body to make sure the water is used properly. Today, most of the salt and food we buy is highly processed and lacks minerals, which messes up this balance and can lead to poor hydration.
So now sodium levels inside the cell are rising, which they should not, and the cell swells. What's that called? High blood pressure. The doctor is right. Table salt will contribute to high blood pressure.
Over time, not being properly hydrated can cause serious health issues like kidney problems and heart disease. Dr. Barbara asks an important question. Should we stop using table salt? Are there better options? She explains that inside our cells there's more potassium, while outside there's more sodium.
There's a French doctor named Dr. Lelangri, and he's written a whole book on salt. He said, when people come to me with high blood pressure, I put them on Celtic salt. Why does he put them on Celtic salt? Because Celtic salt contains 82 minerals.
A balance between these two is kept by sodium-potassium pumps in our cell membranes. These pumps work hard to control the levels of sodium and potassium.
Himalayan salt. In many places, Himalayan salt is a lot easy to get. There's about 75 minerals. So it's pretty good, but I prefer the Celtic salt.
But our modern diet, which is low in fruits and vegetables, high in potassium, and high in table salt, disrupts this balance. Too much sodium gets inside the cells, causing them to swell and leading to high blood pressure. Dr. Barbara mentions Dr. Alain de Lorgeril, a French doctor who has written a lot about salt.
The one reason is that the Celtic salt has 3 magnesiums. It contains magnesium chloride and magnesium bromide and magnesium sulfate.
When patients come to him with high blood pressure, he recommends Celtic salt instead of regular table salt. Celtic salt has 82 minerals and is hand harvested, keeping these minerals in their natural form.
Magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, and this explains why the Celtic salt is such a moist salt, especially when we've had a lot of rain, because those 3 magnesiums absorb the moisture.
What about Himalayan salt? It's often seen as healthy too. It has about 75 minerals and is good for you. But Dr. Barbara likes Celtic salt more because it has more magnesium.
And because magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, it can be used to help the water get into the cell.
Magnesium helps the salt hold moisture, so Celtic salt stays moist after rain. Magnesium-rich Celtic salt is important for staying hydrated. When you put it on your tongue,
It not only is required to get the glucose into the blood, it's also required to get the water into the cell. So it's sodium. It's the 3rd most vital element needed for life.
the mucous membranes start absorbing the minerals right away. The magnesium then helps water move into the cells, improving hydration. Drinking water alone isn't enough if it can't get into the cells where it's needed. This explains why some people drink a lot of water but still feel dehydrated.
So when you take a crystal of Celtic salt, put it on your tongue, and some say, how big's a crystal? Well, if you've got high blood pressure, start small.
Choosing the right kind of salt not only adds flavor to your food, but also supports your cell health and overall well-being.
Put it on your tongue, your mucous membranes start absorbing the minerals, the magnesium is taken to the cell membrane, and you drink your water, And that magnesium pulls that water inside the cell. It's the quickest way to hydrate a body.
When individuals begin to increase their water intake, a common concern arises about the frequent need to use the restroom. To address this issue, it becomes beneficial to incorporate Celtic sea salt into the routine.
And again, the potassium is found in all your fresh fruits and vegetables. Calcium cannot get into the cell by itself. It needs vitamin D.
Of salt aids in enhancing the body's ability to absorb water more efficiently, reducing the urgency to visit the bathroom frequently.
The only time excess water drinking can be dangerous is if people drink too much at once and don't have the minerals that are in the Celtic salt to pull that water inside the cell.
It is recommended to add a small pinch of this salt to a glass of water before consumption. This method not only improves hydration, but also helps retain the water in the body for a longer duration.
So we should be drinking at least 2 quarts a day. At least, more if possible. Now at the moment, because you're having a steam sauna every day, I wouldn't be surprised if you've got a 0.8 of a quart loss coming out of your skin because you perspire profusely.
Such a practice ensures that the body remains adequately hydrated without the inconvenience of frequent bathroom trips.
If you don't have enough water, your digestion will be compromised. At every stage, water is needed for every body function,
making the process of increasing water intake more manageable and comfortable. Many of us have heard we should drink about 8 glasses of water a day.
I've had people complain to me, they say, I'm drinking more water now and now I'm going to the bathroom all day. So I say, are you having the salt? Have a little crystal before every glass of water. And ideally, we should be having approximately 8 glasses of water a day.
This advice has been around for a long time. It comes from a 1945 recommendation by the Food Nutrition Board, which said we should drink about 2.5 liters of water daily. But people often forget that most of this water comes from the food we eat.
I think I mentioned earlier, I drink half a glass as soon as I get up. I go to the bathroom, I drink another half glass. Then I get dressed and have another half glass. But when I start every glass, I have that little bit of salt. So you spread the water over the day.
Hydration isn't just about drinking plain water. Fresh fruits and vegetables, which are high in water and potassium, also help keep us hydrated.
Brain cells shrink when they don't have enough water. Headaches are common when we don't have enough water. Negative thought patterns can develop when our brain cells don't have enough water.
If you're feeling tired or hungry, drinking water with a bit of salt can give you a quick energy boost. It's more effective than a cup of coffee or a cigarette. Another tip is to go outside and take deep breaths near a tree.
Important point, if you're on the ketogenic diet, okay, low carb, if you're doing intermittent fasting, if you're doing prolonged fasting, boy, you better take enough sea salt or you're not going to feel right. You might end up with low blood pressure, you might end up with dehydration and overall weakness. And so it's not just about taking an electrolyte powder with potassium, also make sure you take enough salt.
Trees give off oxygen, and deep breathing can refresh your body, giving you more energy. This shows that staying hydrated isn't just about drinking water.
I can get my hand to go in and out like that without pain because around every joint there's fluid. And that fluid is synovial fluid and it is 99% water. In a state of dehydration, the body can take some water from there to maintain full blood volume in the major arteries and veins.
It's also about connecting with nature to improve our well-being. Hydration also affects how well our brains work, since the brain is about 75% water.
I would recommend at least 1 level teaspoon per day for an average person, and that's without exercise. The sodium chloride in the sea salt also helps with your immune system, but the other minerals also help too. I mean, you have selenium, you have calcium, you have iodine.
It works best when it's well hydrated. Drinking enough water can improve your mood, memory, and energy levels. It can also reduce headaches, which are often caused by dehydration. But this isn't the worst part. Mild dehydration can make you feel anxious and tired.
All of these minerals are very, very important. I mean, it's pretty wild that people still use table salt, right? You have the anti-caking mixture in there. Sometimes they put a kind of a poor source of iodine in there. Sometimes they add sugar to the salt.
Keeping yourself hydrated can help with these problems and even prevent constipation. Drinking water with minerals like magnesium and sodium can help improve your bowel movements and relieve constipation.
And so one of the signs of dehydration can be constricted breathing. The blood gets very thick in dehydration. Our blood needs to be nice and thin so the heart can pump it easily, so that the little filtering units in our kidneys can filter it with ease. So water is needed for every single body.
Outro. Have you ever considered how much water you actually need daily? Like, leave a comment and subscribe for more.
Pepper's a remarkable herb. In the book Back to Eden by Jethro Kloss, he devotes half a page to every other herb, but 10 pages to cayenne pepper.
Cayenne pepper isn't the same as chili. While both are spices, cayenne pepper, often just called sea pepper, is gentler on your stomach.
God said that he gave herbs for the service of man. So the cayenne pepper comes in and says, where would you like me? Cayenne pepper is not chili. Chili is an irritant to the lining of the gastrointestinal.
Unlike some spices that might cause irritation, cayenne pepper can actually help your body.
Cayenne pepper does 3 things. Cayenne pepper thins the blood. It's a powerful blood thinner.
For example, if it finds a bleeding vessel while traveling through your bloodstream, it helps seal the leak. This amazing herb gets a lot of attention in the book Back to Eden by Jethro Kloss.
Cayenne pepper is a blood stimulant, and anything that stimulates blood stimulates healing. Cayenne pepper will thin the blood. Cayenne pepper will rebuild heart muscle. Cayenne pepper will strengthen the arterial walls. You can use it internally. You can use it for a sore throat. Yes, it'll tingle at first, but once the tingling dies down, the sore throat is greatly relieved. You can use it for low hydrochloric acid. It'll wake anything up. It wakes stomachs up. One doctor says it's impossible to abuse cayenne pepper. Another doctor says it will never cause a lesion.
While other herbs might get a brief mention, cayenne pepper is discussed in great detail, covering 10 pages. This herb not only adds flavor, but also has 3 key benefits.
Really, it's just stimulating. You can use it externally. If someone has no feeling in their feet, or they have peripheral neuropathy, or if someone continually has cold feet. Perfect health requires perfect circulation, and perfect circulation means your feet and your hands are warm. So what you do if someone has cold feet, now what I've got double layer of kitchen paper. And I'm going to sprinkle it with a little bit of olive oil, and you spread it over the area, because what you want to do is put enough olive oil on there so that the cayenne pepper will stick to it.
It thins your blood, boosts your immune system, and promotes overall health. Dr. Barbara O'Neill's research shows that even a small pinch of this pepper can significantly boost your immune response. But this isn't the most surprising part.
Cayenne pepper does not cause any bleeds. In fact, if cayenne pepper is going through your arteries and your veins and it finds any bleeding, it'll seal the bleeding blood vessel. How come it can thin the blood and yet seal bleeding blood vessels? Well, God said that he gave herbs for the service of man.
Cayenne pepper isn't just another ingredient for your meals. It's a powerful ally for your health. Dr. O'Neill, born on July 28, 1953, has developed many natural remedies that tackle serious health issues with few side effects. Married to Michael O'Neill, founder of the Informed Medical Options Party, she often speaks about natural health solutions over conventional medications, especially concerning vaccination safety.
Sprinkle cayenne pepper. We'd do about half a teaspoon to a foot. And then the foot goes straight on that. And that will never burn. Then you put the foot straight on there, and you put the Glad wrap over, and then you put a sock on. Telling me they've got pins and needles in their feet. For someone with very poor circulation, cold feet, it sometimes will take a few days. If I did that on my feet 2 nights in a row, I'd want my feet in ice water all day. My feet would get too hot.
Despite facing legal challenges and skepticism from the medical community, Dr. O'Neill is dedicated to her cause.
Chili is an irritant to the lining of the gastrointestinal tract. Black pepper is an irritant to the lining of the gastrointestinal tract. But cayenne pepper will heal a stomach ulcer. Cayenne pepper moves blood. It's one of the best circulatory stimulants there is. It's not a nervous system stimulant like your caffeines or your tobacco. It's a blood stimulant. And when you consider...
She promotes the use of natural herbs, oils, and vegetables in our diets. These include castor oil, onions, potatoes, ginger, garlic, and lemon.
Blood, cayenne pepper is a wonderful healer, and you can put cayenne pepper with any other herb and it'll intensify its action. So let's begin by looking at how you can use cayenne pepper internally. By the way, how would you take it? Well, a medicinal dose may be 1/4 teaspoon in a little bit of water and throw it down. Won't it burn? Well, I prefer to call it tingle. It might feel like it's burning, but it will never burn.
She believes these can reduce our reliance on prescription drugs and their side effects. But that's not all. Cayenne pepper, a long, thin red chili from the capsicum family, is well known not just in cooking, but also in traditional medicine.
Pepper's a remarkable herb. In the book Back to Eden by Jethro Kloss, he devotes half a page to every other herb, but 10 pages to cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper moves blood. It is a stimulant, but not a nervous system stimulant. It's not an irritant. It's a stimulant to the blood, and whenever you move blood, you move healing into that area. Internally, it can relieve a sore throat.
It's different from chilies in the chili family, with a Scoville heat unit range that adds zest without overwhelming heat. It's used fresh, dried, and ground into a powder, and has been a staple in many global cuisines.
Tingle at first, but when that tingling settles down, you'll find relief, because cayenne pepper also has an analgesic effect. It's a natural painkiller. Cayenne pepper can be used for an upset stomach. When it gets into the blood, it thins the blood, it opens the capillaries, it strengthens the arterial wall. About 1/4 teaspoon in a little cup of water, or maybe 1/3 cup of water just before the meal. It can also be used externally, and to use it externally...
From Mexican and Cajun to Korean and Sichuan, the health benefits of cayenne are vast. It has been used in Ayurvedic and Eastern medicine for centuries to aid digestion and improve circulation.
And it can bring feeling into feet that nothing else will do. Remember what cayenne pepper does? What I like to do is I like to understand what the actives are in the herb, and then you know to apply it. And its number one most important active is it moves blood. So it's going to pull blood to the area when you've got that on the bottom of the feet. So when you take it off in the morning, you just wipe it with a wet washer.
Capsaicin, the active ingredient in cayenne peppers, is behind these benefits, including its ability to relieve muscle and joint pain. This compound is also found in many topical treatments for its pain-relieving properties. So when you add cayenne pepper to your dishes, from spaghetti to tacos and more, you're not just enhancing the flavor, you're also getting a host of health benefits. It's a spice that offers a unique mix of taste and health, making it a valuable ingredient in kitchens and traditional healing practices worldwide. But here's the kicker. The more you learn about cayenne pepper, the more you'll see why it's considered a super spice. Cayenne pepper is famous for its spicy flavor and is used in kitchens all around the world.
Now we're going to have a look at cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper, we've got cayenne pepper in this little container here. Cayenne pepper is a remarkable herb. Some people say we shouldn't use it because it's a stimulant. It is not a stimulant like caffeine or alcohol or marijuana is a stimulant. It's a blood stimulant. That means it's good, because Leviticus 17:11 states that the life of the flesh is in the blood. So anything that moves blood is going to be helpful.
Originally from Central and South America, this spice is now popular in places like India, East Africa, Mexico, and many parts of the United States. Dr. Barbara O'Neill, a health expert, talks about the many benefits of cayenne pepper.
It's by Sam Beiser. It's called Curing with Cayenne. And he shows in that book that you put cayenne with any other herb and it'll intensify that other herb's action. It's a blood stimulant. It can be used internally and it can be used externally. And I think in your book it shows how it does three main things internally in the blood. It thins the blood, it strengthens the arterial walls.
She says this powerful spice not only helps thin the blood and strengthen heart muscles, but also keeps the arteries healthy and improves blood flow. Good blood circulation is important because it helps the body heal faster.
And it opens the capillaries. So let me tell you about an experience I had a few years ago. It was one of our retreats. I got the call, lady'd had a heart attack. I was only 3 minutes away, that's why you have to be fit. I ran down. It was a cooking class with about 16 people, and she was lying on the floor. She was 80. Her husband said she'd already had a few that year, and they always called the ambulance, but they thought, let's see what they do.
Dr. O'Neill highlights that blood needs to move smoothly to keep us healthy.
My off-cider, cayenne pepper, quickly. We got the cayenne pepper. Now, there was a guy holding a pulse, and he said the pulse is almost gone. She was just white. So I don't know how much I got. You're just in a hurry. So I think I got about half a teaspoon, put it straight in her mouth. She was half conscious, gave her a little bit of water to drink. The guy holding the pulse yelled out, "The pulse is strong." This would have been 2 minutes. And you could feel that pulse come back.
Cayenne pepper is also known for healing stomach ulcers. Unlike caffeine or tobacco, which affect the nervous system, cayenne pepper works on the circulatory system without the same risks. Many people use aspirin to thin their blood, but Dr. O'Neill warns it can cause dangerous bleeding in the brain, stomach, and eyes. She suggests using cayenne pepper instead because it's safer and more effective.
Came back to her face. She sat up and said, "What happened?" Everyone around was going, "Whoa." And I said, "No, it's not me, it's the cayenne pepper." So we sold out of cayenne pepper that program. What did the cayenne pepper do? It thinned the blood, it opened the capillaries and got a dramatic delivery of blood through the whole body. Remember, 1 minute for 1 drop of blood to go around your whole body.
But this isn't the worst part. Cayenne pepper also improves digestion. Dr. O'Neill says that drinking a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper in water can stimulate the stomach's glands, helping digestion and increasing the production of stomach acid, which is needed to break down food. Though it may cause a burning sensation at first, this just means the stomach is working harder. Studies back up Dr. O'Neill's claims. The capsaicin in cayenne pepper can prevent stomach ulcers by fighting off harmful bacteria and helping produce digestive fluids. It also helps repair and prevent bleeding in blood vessels, showing just how beneficial this spice can be. And there's more. Dr. O'Neill mentions using cayenne pepper to treat sore throats. Its pain-relieving properties cause an itching feeling at first, but soon after, the throat feels soothed and the pain is gone. Beyond just easing pain, cayenne pepper can also help with upset stomachs and cold feet. This shows how versatile and helpful this natural remedy is. Dr. O'Neill strongly believes that herbs like cayenne pepper are nature's way of providing us with solutions to many health issues. Many people experience poor circulation or health conditions like anemia, diabetes, and the side effects of chemotherapy. These issues often cause numbness or a cold feeling in their feet. A common but wrong solution is to soak cold feet in hot water. However, Dr. Barbara O'Neill advises against this because it can damage tissue. Instead, she suggests a safer and surprisingly effective method, using a compress made from olive oil and cayenne pepper. For those who prefer, castor oil can be used instead. And there's more. Dr. O'Neill mentions using cayenne pepper to treat sore throats. Its pain-relieving properties cause an itching feeling at first, but soon after, the throat feels soothed and the pain is gone. Beyond just easing pain, cayenne pepper can also help with upset stomachs and cold feet. This shows how versatile and helpful this natural remedy is. Dr. O'Neill strongly believes that herbs like cayenne pepper are nature's way of providing us with solutions to many health issues. Many people experience poor circulation or health conditions like anemia, diabetes, and the side effects of chemotherapy. These issues often cause numbness or a cold feeling in their feet. A common but wrong solution is to soak cold feet in hot water. However, Dr. Barbara O'Neill advises against this because it can damage tissue. Instead, she suggests a safer and surprisingly effective method, using a compress made from olive oil and cayenne pepper. For those who prefer, castor oil can be used instead. ADD clip. To make this compress, start with a double layer of kitchen paper on a plastic sheet. Drizzle a moderate amount of olive oil over the paper, spreading it evenly so the cayenne pepper sticks well. Be careful not to use too much oil, or it might seep through the paper. Then, sprinkle half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper over it. Put this under your foot, wrap it with the plastic sheet, and cover it with a sock. Dr. O'Neill recommends applying this compress before bedtime, especially for those who often have cold or numb feet. By morning, you might feel a tingling sensation, which means better circulation. Repeat this every other night until your feet feel warm or the numbness goes away. These sheets can also be prepared in advance for convenience, but this isn't the only benefit of the cayenne pepper compress. Dr. O'Neill found it can also help with an underactive thyroid. She tells the story of a woman who, despite taking medication for her sluggish thyroid, saw significant improvement after using the cayenne compress. The woman even stopped her Medicaid to make this compress. Start with a double layer of kitchen paper on a plastic sheet. Drizzle a moderate amount of olive oil over the paper, spreading it evenly so the cayenne pepper sticks well. Be careful not to use too much oil, or it might seep through the paper. Then, sprinkle half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper over it. Put this under your foot, wrap it with the plastic sheet, and cover it with a sock. Dr. O'Neill recommends applying this compress before bedtime, especially for those who often have cold or numb feet. By morning, you might feel a tingling sensation, which means better circulation. Repeat this every other night until your feet feel warm or the numbness goes away. These sheets can also be prepared in advance for convenience. But this isn't the only benefit of the cayenne pepper compress. Dr. O'Neill found it can also help with an underactive thyroid. She tells the story of a woman who, despite taking medication for her sluggish thyroid, saw significant improvement after using the cayenne compress. The woman even stopped her medication entirely. However, Dr. O'Neill warns against using this treatment at bedtime for the thyroid, as it may generate too much heat and disrupt sleep. Cayenne pepper isn't just useful for cold feet and thyroid issues. It has many other health benefits. For instance, it can stop bleeding. Dr. O'Neill recalls an incident where a colleague had deep cuts on her foot. By applying cayenne pepper directly to the wounds, the bleeding stopped almost immediately, and the pain quickly lessened. The next day, the cuts had healed well enough that stitches were not needed. Is cayenne pepper a miracle cure, or just another myth? Share your thoughts in the comments, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe for more health insights.